for the Trop. Thanks so much for being here for our News 3 special curtain call, the Tropicana implosion. I'm Kim Wagner.
And I'm Dana Wagner, and it's kind of exciting, right? Because the last time we saw one of these was 8 years ago when they brought down the Riviera. So we haven't seen an implosion here in Las Vegas for 8 years. So we're anticipating this one, which is set to begin in about 20 minutes.
And you have the exact right seat because they do not have a staging area for people to show up in person. So free of charge, it's going to be Vegas style, and we have you covered. In fact, our live team coverage on this historic early morning shows our team of people. We have Fidel Moreno-Meza.
He's in the upper left-hand box right there. Andrew Nomura is at the Mandalay Bay in the upper right-hand box.
And they have a media staging area, so we have you covered there. Andrew is already dancing at the foundation
Yeah, I see
room.
that.
We also have our Jim Snyder and Chloe Coast that are just south of the property. Is it already a party-like feel out there, Chloe and Jim?
Well, for us,
we're getting there.
Yeah. Let's just tell you where we are. We're just on the south end of the Trop. There's the Club Tower right there behind us that's going to be falling tonight, along with the Paradise Tower over by the Strip. And this actually is a staging area for some of the crews that have installed the explosive in the towers. They're watching from here, and as soon as they come down, Chloe, they tell me they're going to go back to the site and start working.
Yeah, absolutely. You might even be able to see in some of our live pictures here some of the people that are dressed up in their vests because they're going to get right to work the second this thing goes down, and it's going down in about 22 seconds when it's all said and done.
Yeah, tonight's the story of 3 22s. The towers are each 22 stories tall, and they'll both come down in, as you say, about 22 seconds.
But Las Vegas has to do it with all the fanfare, of course, and so there's going to be a ceremony, a drone show with 555 drones, plus the fireworks show by Grucci. It's going to be quite a sight to see, and we're really glad we're able to show that to people who are watching at home.
Let's talk about the dust. There's a dust advisory in effect right now.
Yes. So obviously we can anticipate something like this whenever we have an event like, I don't know, the Tropicana going down. So with this implosion, a dust advisory has been issued for the early morning hours, specifically around the Las Vegas Strip. So this is where we're going to see the most concentrated areas of dust, but it's not expected to linger for very long, maybe a couple of hours. But anyone who lives in this area or maybe has to move to this area early this morning, just use extra caution. If you're driving, keep the windows up, put the AC on, and if you live around this area, AC inside the house, make sure the filters are clean, and just avoid spending too much time, really any time outside when you have a lot of particulates in the air.
All good advice, and the good news is it's just pretty much dead calm as far as the winds go right now, so we're hoping that dust will kind of stay on site. 20 implosions in Las Vegas over the last 31 years. You go back to 1993 when the Dunes was imploded in spectacular fashion. Right. And this is how we do it. And it's always a big milestone for the community because it's about saying goodbye to the Trop and all the years that it's been around and the memories, and also looking ahead to the next thing, which of course one of the big reasons they're clearing this site is to build the A's ballpark, a 33,000 square foot baseball stadium. This view will be a lot different here in a few years.
I feel like the skyline ever changes right here in the Las Vegas Valley, but it's a great sight to see. It's the evolution of the Las Vegas Valley. We're closing the door on 67 fantastic years of the Tropicana. So many memories and a lot of explosives to bring it all down.
Yes, so we'll be here to watch all of that as it happens. That drone and fireworks show is just minutes away, Dana and Kim, and we've got a perfect vantage point from here to watch the whole show and bring it right into people's living rooms.
Well, we are so excited. We cannot wait. Thank you, guys. And for Dana and I, it'll be interesting because we learned so much about these two towers. One is made of concrete, the other is made of steel. So it'll be interesting to see how they come down because they had to wire them differently to take them down.
They did. If we can go back to the live picture from the Mandalay Bay that actually shows the site there, you'll see in the foreground the two dark towers. They're right in front of the MGM, which is across the street. On the left, that's the Paradise Tower. That is the one that's made of steel, and they loaded that with 490 pounds of explosives. On the right, that is the Club Tower, and that is made of concrete and rebar. That's more difficult to bring down. They loaded that with 1,700 pounds of explosives, more than 3 times the amount that they're putting inside the Paradise Tower. These will not come down at the exact same time. It'll be one tower and then immediately following, it'll be the other tower in quick succession.
And it's painstaking work to get ready for something like this. With the Paradise Tower, because it's made of steel, they had to do 220 cut points within the property to get ready for this moment. And it's sort of dicey because they need it to stand until implosion morning.
Yes.
So they have to be very, very careful when they do work like this.
When you talk about those cut points, they're cutting the actual steel.
The actual steel,
right?
yes.
So they don't want to cut it too much that the building falls in on itself. I know they're going to implode it here, but they want that to be a controlled collapse of the building. So those cut points are actually on the steel itself.
And then you just heard Chloe and Jim referring to it's going to be so Vegas. We are expecting a drone show, a fireworks show, and then the implosion.
Yeah, let me explain how it's going to look. If you can come back onto the set for just a second here. The drone show is going to begin with those 550 drones, and they're going to be aligned over the towers, and it's going to look like a plunger. This is what I've read it.
Right.
I haven't seen it. It's going to look like a plunger that's going to light a fuse. The fuse, I think, will be part of the pyrotechnics by Grucci, and the fuse is going to burn down to the buildings, and when it hits the building, boom, implosion.
And they're a la So Vegas, right? So we're just getting started with our live team coverage. Fidel Moreno Meza is over very near the Tropicana this morning. So Fidel, give us some perspective with your vantage point.
Hey, Kim and Dana. Well, in true Vegas fashion, it is definitely a party here as a final farewell to the Tropicana. We even got these like cool party hats that you see here. Now, I was told this is fashionable, not functional. It is definitely plastic. There is quite the crowd here as we get ready to witness quite a historic moment here in Las Vegas. We're actually getting ready for that celebration to start right here. You can see the stage being set, like we've been mentioning over the last few days. This isn't just an implosion, it is quite the celebration. You know, like I mentioned here at the beginning, in true Vegas fashion, it feels like a party out here. We got quite the spectacle, and like Dana was mentioning, you just illustrated to me what I'm expected to see here in the sky. All of our crews are scattered throughout here, so we will have a great vantage point of everything that is going on here this morning as we await the implosion of the Tropicana here. Of course, again, I'm telling you, the party is here, the music is bumping, and the crowds are ready to witness this moment. I'm going to send things back to you over in the studio as we prepare here to hear some words. Of course, we'll bring you that update here throughout the morning.
Fidel, I got a quick question for you. We heard there was no public viewing area, but it looks like there's a public viewing area. Where are you? Are you in the Luxor parking lot? And are these invited guests? Who's behind you?
So this is all invited. These are all people that were invited to witness the moment. We are actually in a parking lot that is open to invited guests and dignitaries. Whoever it is that is in town was invited. So this wasn't just anybody. It's people that were asked to come here and attend, you know, this historical event.
Got it. So thank you, Fidel. In fact, that makes sense. I know folks who work in New Jersey for Bally's who have come out for this event. I know one of their lead attorneys is here in town for that. So she's probably, Lynn Kaufman, is probably over where George is. Yes. All right. Thank you very much, Fidel Moreno Meza. And as we await the implosion, the Tropicana's legacy is being preserved in so many different ways.
There were a lot of cool things inside the hotel. Obviously, all of that has been taken out, and some of those stored at UNLV. University's Special Collections Department is home to many of our city's historical documents, and some of the items that are being preserved from the Trop include recordings, promotional material, even menus from its many restaurants. Sarah Quigley with Special Collections says every item here is part of the Trop's legacy.
One of the longest operating casinos in the city. And again, for a community as future oriented as we are, where casinos sort of come and go on a much shorter timeline, I think it's crucial that we understand, how did the Tropicana manage to stay in business for so long when so many others don't?
We're pretty good about that in this city, preserving the city's history.
Yes.
I know we knock things down too sweet, but we try to keep at least some of the items from there, including what you see with all those great signs in downtown Las Vegas. They even have a neon museum featuring those signs.
Yep, we refer to it as the Neon Boneyard. And we have had plenty of implosions over the years. In fact, historians say Las Vegas is a city that builds up blows up, and then builds up again.
Right? It's been happening. We've been blowing things up here since 1993 when the dunes came down.
Yep.
That was the first of 20. There have been 20 over the last 31 years, beginning with the dunes. Dunes implosion was one of the coolest. That was the first one. That happened on October 27, 1993, almost exactly 31 years ago, and that was the same night that the Treasure Island Hotel opened. You might remember that Steve Wynn ordered the captain of the Britannia, that was the ship in front of the TI, to fire a cannon shot toward the dunes, which began the implosion. Some 300,000 people were there that night. We also saw the Sands come down in 96, the Aladdin in 98, which may have been the coolest of them all, and the Riv in 2016.
And you know what? You may have seen an implosion and not even realized it. Did you ever see the movie Mars Attack?
Yeah, that was a landmark.
Because that was the landmark that they used, the real implosion within that major motion picture. And now at 2:20 Las Vegas time, that means we are 10 minutes away from the implosion of the storied Tropicana Las Vegas.
Our Andrew Nomura may have the most interesting shot. He is in Mandalay Bay, at the top of the Mandalay Bay, the foundation room. And it seems like a very big party atmosphere. In fact, I saw a guy on the preview monitor chugging a beer behind you, getting ready for the implosion.
Yes, Dana, you said may be the best part of town to watch the implosion. No, this is the best spot. Check this out. This is the party here at Foundation Room, where tons of people are getting ready to see the old Tropicana go down tonight. Check this out. I want to show you, Alec, come on in. I want to show you our viewing area, right? Our viewing point. This is where you see the Tropicana. But I want you all to take a look a little further down. You see that in front of the Luxor? Like all those little ants? Well, those are actually people standing and waiting, ready for this Tropicana to implode. It's really a sight to see. The MGM Grand in the distance there, if you look over to the right, if you can zoom in on their parking garage, you can see tons of people on their parking garage also getting ready to see an implosion like they've never seen before. We've been talking to people here at the Foundation Room just for the last hour or so. Some coming from as far as Canada. The brother that you were talking about, Dana, who is chugging a beer. Yeah, that's a good old Canadian right here, along with several other people from across the country. There you go. There you have it. We're having a good time. We will send it back to you.
I'm nervous right now. I'm nervous. I'm nervous for Andrew. He's in the middle of it. I don't think the guy is a Canadian. He had a Budweiser in his hand, not a Molson. So that's, tell him he's phony.
Yeah. You want
Tell
to
him
see his
he's,
papers?
yeah, exactly. I want to see his papers.
Andrew, thank you. Great vantage point. And now at 2:22 Las Vegas time, we are getting ready to witness history together. Very soon, we will have the official implosion of the Tropicana.
So that's going to happen in 7 minutes. That's when the show begins. The drones, the pyrotechnics, that's expected to last about 7 minutes. So the towers are not expected to come down behind us until maybe about 2:37.
And we have quite literally every vantage point covered. In fact, our Georgia Costa is live from the media staging area very near the boulevard. So, George, what are you seeing from your location?
Yeah, Kim and Dana, this is actually pretty much the closest vantage point that you can get to that implosion site. Now, the main focus is right behind me, as those two towers right there are going to be the main focal point of tonight's or today's event. Early morning, 2:30 is when all this is going to kick off. Those fireworks, that drone show are going to dance around those towers. Now, we already seen a little bit of a preview of what that looks like, and let me tell you, the crowd here is highly anticipating it. They're very excited. Now, like like you mentioned, it will consist of a 7-minute firework and drone show paying tribute to the Tropicana, now the history behind it, and revisiting the last 67 years of that iconic hotel. Now, for those tuning in, the creators behind this illuminating show are no strangers to the valley, as they are none other than the Grucci family, who have been here for 7 generations and who have been behind several implosions here in the valley, such as the Dunes Frontier and Stardust casinos. Now, the creators tell me you'll get to see those 555 drones, pyrotechnics, fireworks, music, as they all dance around those towers, spiraling upwards. And like Dana mentioned, again, that plunger that is set to mark that countdown as those towers come crumbling to the ground prior to those 20 seconds of implosion. Now, it would all go quick, those 67 years of history all coming to an end. But I also out here got to talk to a lot of people. I got to talk to locals. I got to talk to former employees such as the dancers of the Folies Berzer, and even spoke to the Tropicana general manager, who tells me this farewell is a day that will be remembered in history, as it marks the end of an era as well as the beginning of a new one.
I hope people remember those special moments, how grand the pool was. I hear from guests all the time when I was working there, and even now today, people reaching out about how they would break into the pool as a teenager, or it was the weddings they went to, or their wedding there, their first jackpot. Those special memories, that's what I want people to hold on to. And even though the physical structure's gone, the site remains, and again, we're just going to evolve.
Yeah, again, a lot of memories there, but that is all set to kick off here in less than 5 minutes, and we're going to have that coverage for you, but we're going to throw it back to you in the studio for now.
Thank you, George. Appreciate it. And just a reminder, everyone, we do have a countdown on the screen. So
Right.
if you have to run into the bathroom real quick or something,
Exactly.
you're not going to miss it.
It says 4 minutes there,
Yeah.
4 minutes and change until the beginning of the drone show. There is a ceremony going on right now. They have various speakers up there right now. Steve Hill from the LVCVA. This is in the Luxor parking lot across the street from the implosion. Let's listen in for just a second to Steve Hill.
That's the county commission, their staff. It is the governor, it is our legislature who passed this law that allowed this to move forward. It is our workforce.
And then right next to him, Dana, is the owner of the A's,
Yep.
the baseball team that will eventually move to Las Vegas and have their stadium on the site of the Tropicana once it's gone here in just moments.
We're expecting construction on that stadium to begin next year, I think in the second quarter, and be ready in time for the 2028 season.
All right, let's go back to our Chloe Coast and also Jim Snyder. They are very close to where the implosion is going to take place. In fact, do you guys have all the gear? Do you have the goggles? Do you have the mask? Are you ready to go?
You seem like you're too close. I mean, you're right there.
Yeah, we're right here. And again, it's just going to be a story of amazing engineering that we're watching here. Dana, you were talking some about that. That's the club tower right behind us that was lit up, and now it's just gone dark.
Ooh.
But that's the one that's traditional concrete and rebar that's going to come down with sticks of dynamite that were drilled into the columns. The one closer to Las Vegas Boulevard, that's the Paradise Tower. That's the one that has the steel in it and needs those different explosives that Dana was talking about.
It's going to take nearly 2,200 pounds of explosives to bring these buildings down, and it's going to be a sight to see, but we're prepared for it. We've got the protective gear, the glasses, we've got the masks when we're expecting to see some of that dust roll in. We mentioned the dust advisory a little bit earlier. We even have some earplugs just in case it gets a little noisy, but it's pretty short-lived. It's 22 seconds for the whole implosion.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear it, so I don't know
I
if I'll
know.
go with the ear protection. We'll see. But yeah, taking you back to 1957 when this joint opened up, you really can't overstate. This was the place to be. It was the most expensive hotel ever built in Las Vegas at the what now seems a laughable price tag
Right?
of $15 million.
$15 million. It was known as the Tiffany of the Strip. I mean, it had, high rollers. It had visitors like Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr. It had Dean Martin. I mean, and it was also had its mob connections.
Yes, exactly. Went through those days.
The rich history there. The late and great Tom Hawley did a fantastic video vault story on
Right.
the Folies Bergère. And, there's just so many memories here.
That's the longest running production show on the Las Vegas Strip ever. Almost made it 50 years.
Yeah.
And a lot of locals have very fond memories of that. I've got a lot of great memories of the Trop. For whatever reason, the Snyder family, when they would come to visit, they were in love with the Tropicana, mostly because of the cool pool area and the swim-up blackjack. That was something that kept coming back. So, yeah, spent a lot of time here.
For people watching at home, you've got 3 Cougs on the show right now.
Yes,
the last time I was here at the Tropicana, I was actually watching a classmate who is also a Washington State Coug, Kelsey Cook. She had a comedy show at the Laugh Factory, and it was just, you know, there's so many memories here. It's you know, it's a bummer it's going down, but we got great things coming up.
Yep, always something coming up next. That's the way it rolls here in Las Vegas. Kim and Dana, we're just minutes away, so we'll toss it back to you guys.
All right, thanks you guys. And every single resort around that location is sold out. They have a budget property called the Oyo. It's normally quite affordable.
Yeah, how much?
$700
for a
they're
night?
Completely sold out for this night.
We're 25.
So they have a front row seat.
25 seconds away. We also saw people at the MGM, the parking garage. There were hundreds of people on the top of the parking garage. That's just right across the street from the Tropicana site. They're going to have the best view in town, I would imagine.
And MGM Resorts did a great job warning everybody that this was about to happen, so no one's calling 911 thinking we're under attack. This is planned, and now we are just seconds out. 3, 2, 1.
So in the background, you hear the owner of the Oakland A's. That is John Fisher. They're going to play in Sacramento the next several seasons. He's being Steve Hill from the LVCVA, standing right next to him. They've been working hand in glove together, and I was just reading today where they're convinced that the A's will be able to get enough financing to build that $1.5 billion stadium. The Fisher family will be putting in some money in on that. They'll also be using the bonding capacity from Clark County as well, but it looks like they're beginning the show right now. Funny to hear the car alarms going
Yes.
off in the background, but that was spectacular, wasn't it?
And just like that, in typical Vegas fashion, underscoring that we are the sports and entertainment capital of the world. You're not going to get that in Des Moines. There's the exclamation mark on our city that we call home.
The sports and entertainment capital of the world and the implosion capital of the world are 21st in our city's history, going back 31 years. The first one was almost exactly 31 years ago when the dunes came down. And tonight, we say goodbye to the Tropicana.
At 2:38 in the morning, Las Vegas time, it is official. Those towers have come down to the ground, and we have multiple vantage points. Crews that are fanned out all over the Las Vegas Strip so you can see every single perspective. In fact, as we let the dust settle just a bit, we will check back in with our crews because they will have the firsthand account of what it felt like. I'm wondering what it actually felt like from their location. In fact, Chloe Coast and Jim Snyder, you are so close to where this just happened. Could you feel the ground rumbling beneath you?
Oh,
I can feel it in my chest, huh?
It kind of caught me off guard. We all knew what was going to happen, and we had the countdown out here. But when we heard that monstrous boom, my heart did a
Did
double.
you put your ear protection in or not?
I took your advice. I wanted to hear the big boom, but I think some of the car alarms couldn't handle it. They were sounding off.
Exactly. And Kim, you said it. You could actually feel like this entire area was kind of shaking. I mean, it was like through your body, and I don't know if it was coming up through the ground or what. But the drone show was incredible. All the different logos that they worked in with the A's and the Tropicana logo and the Welcome to Vegas sign and Bally's and everything else. That was fun to watch too.
Oh yeah. The only thing I'm not a big fan of, you're starting to see it right now. It's getting a bit murky out here. That's because all of the dust from the Tropicana implosion is now starting to move right where we are standing. So I'm gonna
go ahead and put this on too.
Yeah, I'm gonna cover up my face a little bit. Hopefully you guys can still hear okay.
That's amazing.
But this is why we have the protective gear.
But yeah, could you see the smoke? Could you see the dust?
Oh, here it
I
goes.
can barely
Yes.
see
Right
you.
behind
Are
us
you
here.
kidding me? It looks like you're in San Francisco in a fog bank.
Wow, that is
I look
wild.
better with this kind of visibility. But it was fun. We are with a lot of the demo crews that work for Going Gone Demolition, partnering with Controlled Demolition for this one. And they lit up a big cheer when the whole thing was coming down to the ground. They saw their work paid off.
Yeah, no kidding. I can't even see where the camera is right now. I'm assuming
Scott's
it's in
back
front
there.
of us.
That's your husband back there somewhere.
I can see.
Yeah.
I can see the legs of the camera. I can see a few lights. I will say my eyes are stinging a little bit.
Okay.
But again, that's why we have the protective gear. That's why we have people.
Yep. Okay, we're taking another look at it now, and boy, it never gets old. You know what's coming. We dissected exactly what was going to happen, and then to see it in front of your eyes, Chloe, and to feel it through your whole body, it really is something.
I got some good advice when I first came to Las Vegas about 9 years ago, and it's like, you know what, you're not a Las Vegas local until you've experienced an implosion.
Exactly.
And gosh, I feel this is the best kind of initiation. And you know, I know we've got big things around the corner with the A's coming here, and you know, the Tropicana has provided so many memories to Las Vegas, but we're just one of those cities where we keep on making new ones.
Well, and Kim said it best, this is the way we do it here in Vegas, right? This is the way we turn a page and we take down something and we build something new. And the great part is it's great PR all over the country and all over the world for the morning shows.
Yes.
They'll be playing this video out of Las Vegas that we just saw.
It'll be seen worldwide for sure, no doubt. You know what that reminds me of, all that cloud of dust? When the Sands came down on November 26, 1996, they shot that scene for the Con Air movie.
Yes, that's right.
And they had a cloud of dust, so the people, they had extras. They hired movie extras who were supposed to be running. But you know who else got caught up? The spectators.
Yes, they did.
The cloud of dust enveloped the spectators, and they were also running from the scene and became part of that movie Con Air.
And it wouldn't surprise me if what just happened ends up in another movie. We've had Tim Burton and Mars Attack. We've had Con Air, and who knows, maybe there's a Hollywood producer that is going to put this into some sort of spectacular movie we'll see on the big screen in the near future. All right, you guys, thank you. Let's get another perspective now. Our Andrew Demur is at Mandalay Bay at the very top of the foundation room. Andrew, you have a party of people are guzzling beers before this thing came down. What's it like now?
Yeah, it's people are clearing out, but people are still partying, seeing how things are looking like here at the very strip. I want to show you all this shot right here. Alan, if you can move in, I want to show you just how much smoke is just covering where the Tropicana was once, where it once stood. And right now we are seeing that vantage point. As you can see, plenty of people have cleared out down on the ground, but people are still here partying, having a good time. A lot of people that we were talking to, they were like, man, this is something that is a once in a lifetime opportunity to experience. Seeing a casino such as the Tropicana, the Tiffany of the Strip, after 67 years, go down in a cloud of smoke now. It's really amazing. The fireworks show, by the way, was phenomenal. I was seeing all the pyrotechnics. Shout out to them. This is an amazing fireworks show, amazing party right now. And, you know, you can't ask for much more. We'll send it back to you all.
Hey, Andrew, will you do me one quick favor? Have your cameraman zoom in on the embers of the two buildings. It looks like we are still seeing things smoldering on the Tropicana side. If you can zoom in on that.
Yeah, and as we are
Go ahead and zoom in on that.
And as we are zooming in on that, also I want to give everyone sort of a programming note here. We have a full retrospective paying tribute to the legacy of the Tropicana that's going to start in 15 minutes time at 3 o'clock this morning. And we just want to put that on the radar because we don't want you to go to bed or, you know, start doing other things. That we are going to have programming as we pay tribute to the legacy of the Tropicana all the way up until our morning program starts at 4 a.m.
We have some really cool pieces coming until 7 a.m. this morning. We're going to take a look back at the rich history of the Tropicana, 67 years. We'll also take a look back at the major implosions from our community over the last 31 years.
And because we have so many special things planned right now, we are going to push pause. We have a lot more with our special coverage of the curtain call for the Tropicana, but we're going to fit in a very brief break, and then we're back in just moments.
Looking to sell your house? Choosing the right buyer matters. Hi, I'm Andrew the Home Buyer, and I'm proud that over the years, thousands of homeowners have trusted me to buy their house. I pay cash, and I pay more than anyone else. I'll buy it in any condition, and I'll even let you live in your home for free after we close. Call me, Andrew the Home Buyer. You'll love selling me your house.
We're offering our free loans up to $5,000. Really, zero fees and free interest on a loan for a full week. But what happens after the free week? Let's say you borrow $500. The first week is on us, and after that, it'll only cost you $2.75 per day. If you need that $500 for an additional week, it would cost you less than $20 in interest. Your first loan is on us.
It's that time of year for Mrs. Patio's half-price sale. This event only happens in October. Save 50% on select styles and brands throughout our stores. It's the perfect time to renew your outdoor living space with beautiful patio furniture, umbrellas, fire tables, and accessories. The half-price sale going on now at all 3 locations in the Valley. There's not much time left, so hurry in for the best selection this month only at Mrs. Patio, the very finest in outdoor luxury furnishings.
So this is the new iPhone 16 Pro?
Yep. Say hello to Apple Intelligence. It's the best
day ever.
And when you get it with Cox Mobile, you'll be running on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability.
I'm having the time of my life.
Smart. We'll take it.
Dream big. Save 50% on iPhone 16 Pro at Cox Mobile.
It's easy for me to recommend Balance of Nature to any friend because it's so simple. It's amazing getting the fruits and vegetables ingredients that I feel like I need in 3 red and 3 green capsules. It's great.
Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. And don't forget to get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer.
Enjoy a 30-day money-back guarantee and free shipping. Don't wait any longer. Use discount code FRESH.
F1 returns to Vegas. News 3 will have the most comprehensive coverage with inside information, behind-the-scenes moments, and up-to-the-minute updates. News 3's Formula Vegas on all your devices.
And down they go just about 10 minutes ago, live on this program. Both towers there at the Tropicana site coming down.
So welcome back to our Tropicana Implosion special. Our coverage will continue all throughout the morning. We're going to be on live solid through 7 o'clock this morning, and then we'll do that handoff to the Today Show. And it really, truly is an end of an era for the Las Vegas Strip. The Trop now joining other properties gone in the desert dust.
So we have a cloud of dust. When you say the desert dust, we have a cloud of dust. And standing in the middle of the cloud of dust, Chloe and Jim. And I was concerned that you guys were too close, and now I'm positive that you guys are too close.
Maybe we should have thought that through beforehand in the planning, huh? It was nice to be this close for sure. I mean, the dust is something to deal with now, but to be able to feel it and see it like we did was something.
I love the experience. Right now, the eye's stinging, and I can attest to anyone who has respiratory issues, as someone who has asthma, this doesn't feel great. So yes, it's very dusty around here. We did mention a dust advisory is going to be in place through the morning. We're going to expect that to improve as we go throughout the day, but the heaviest concentrations obviously in the site, around the site where the Tropicana has just gone down.
And this was your first implosion, seeing it in person.
Yes.
Yes. And it lives up to the hype, doesn't it?
I knew what to expect mentally,
right?
But once you're here and you see it and you feel it, really, my heartbeat was just like, you know, it was just a surreal feeling.
This is all taking me back, guys, 31 years ago to the Dunes implosion. I was there at Flamingo and the Boulevard, and we dealt with dust that night too, so that's kind of bringing it back. But it was such an exciting night because we all knew that, you know, the Dunes was leaving, but Steve Wynn had bought the property and he had something big planned. Nobody knew what yet. We didn't know Bellagio was coming, but it was, and it was such a very cool moment of feeling in the community as everybody stood there and watched it and cheered, and then the dust started coming, and so we all turned and ran. It was short-lived, but it was something I'll never forget.
Yeah, this is the part where people at home are probably like, yes, I'm glad I stayed in and watched Channel 3 to get this coverage. I mean, and we've already got the crews on the ground here, hard at work. I mean, off in the distance you can see little silhouettes of the workers here. It's tough to make out people, but through the dust and the thick of it all, they're getting back to work and they're working to clear up the site.
Yeah, I talked to a few of them who were here watching, and they said that as soon as the dust started to settle, they would be back there and continue with the demolition work, which is to eventually clear the site. It's a 35-acre site. The ballpark
up, and it's like you blink and all of a sudden the Las Vegas skyline changes. Before you know it, we're gonna have a guitar on the strip, a whole bunch of different shapes.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, think about the Tropicana Tower, the main tower, the Paradise Tower that they used to call the Tiffany Tower. We've talked about the Tiffany of the desert here, but looking up Las Vegas Boulevard from its perch here at Tropicana, all the changes that have happened in front of that hotel tower over all these years, and now the Tropicana relegated to history as well.
I still can't believe it. I mean, look at that. We had a building right behind us at the start of the show.
Our view has changed, what we can make out through the dust anyway. And Dana and Kim looking forward to being part of the special coverage going forward. But it's clearing out here. A lot of those friends of the crews who were down here watching are now leaving as quickly as they can.
Yeah,
Well,
good idea.
You guys, I want to pick up on what you just talked about a moment ago, Jim, and how Steve Wynn really pioneered this spectacle.
He did.
When he was opening up the Treasure Island, we refer to it as the TI, and they had Buccaneer Bay. They timed it exactly to where they would send off a cannon from Buccaneer Bay, and then it was supposedly supposed to hit the dunes. And at the same time as they christened and had the opening of the Treasure Island, the dunes came down in spectacular fashion. In fact, they used jet fuel to bring down the dunes, and they did that for a specific reason. Because Steve Wynn had a degenerative eye disease. Essentially, he was losing his sight, going blind, and so they wanted to make sure that Steve Wynn, who had put this whole thing together, would be able to see the bright spot of the dunes coming down from his vantage point at the Treasure Island. Spectacular stuff.
That's true, and it was also much better for television too. It
Right.
just
Oh,
made
yeah.
a bigger spectacle. And as you know, Kim, ever the marketer, ever the showman, Steve Wynn had bought an hour of TV time on NBC on Channel 3 to promote his new Treasure Island casino. So that was all worked into the plot of that show, and those flames really helped to make it that much more spectacular.
And now we need resident Nick Cage to help us find the footage from the helicopters that were up above the dunes, filming at the time. And this is actually a real thing. Steve Krupe, who has been dubbed the implosion guy, former reporter here at News 3, has been working with the studios in Los Angeles, looking through their archives. He's even gotten in touch with Martin Scorsese to see if he has any of the footage left. They used some of it in their movie Casino and other movie producers. So we're hoping at some point that footage is found. Right now, it is lost in time.
Yeah, and you can, I think, see the helicopter that's actually recording that or filming that in one of the shots that did make it in. But yeah,
Yes.
as you said, Steve Krupe trying everything he can to track down that original, because a 35mm print would be a spectacular way to look at that implosion if he can find it.
And the reason that those helicopters were over that dunes implosion was because they wanted to show that at the end of the movie Casino. Do you remember when they were imploding all of the old properties, and Lefty Rosenthal, at least the character playing Lefty, was lamenting how Las Vegas was changing from its storied past into something new, and we see that again, transitioning from the old, the Tropicana, to something new, the A's baseball stadium.
And now we're essentially Hollywood West 2.0. We have Mark Wahlberg, Nick Cage, and so many others who are now calling Las Vegas home. And as we have the next legislative session that'll get going here in the new year up in Carson City, there is legislation to build movie studios down here in Las Vegas, and even one possibly up in the Reno area.
Guys, thank you. We appreciate it. We'll be checking back in before we let you go here later on this morning. But right now, let's get a different vantage point for that. We send it out to George Acosta. George, give us an idea of what you're seeing from your vantage point.
Yeah, I actually just took my mask off. The dust has settled a lot here, but it was just a few seconds ago, it was a whole cloud of smoke of that debris just brushing over here. You can't really see it now, but there was a little bit of spectacles here just on my phone from that debris. It actually kind of smelled kind of good. That fireworks smoke actually all just blowing out here. Again, as Chloe mentioned a little bit earlier, the biggest kind of boom from the second tower kind of startled us a little bit, but nonetheless, a lot of the crowd here just all excited to see, to say farewell to the Tropicana, as well as pay respects for the employees there, and then welcome the new era that is that ballpark that is set to be built right there. You can see just right now that the whole area has been cleared. There's still a little bit of dust there, but now the whole area, there is two buildings there now completely gone. Now you can see a clear view of the strip, the MGM, that beautiful green there. But again, that Tropicana is gone right now, but a lot of people are going to remember it. It's going to be something that we revisit year after year of the next implosion. And of course, the Grucci family here, I did talk to the CEO of the firework, the Grucci fireworks, who tell us that it's something that he never really expects. He plans for them year after year, for the New Year's, for the dunes, the other implosions here in the valley. And it's just something that it always starts a little bit of his heart keeps beating, but again, he does it for the community here. And this truly Bally's Corporation says this was actually a gift to the community. And again, we'll have all that coverage later on News 3, but we're going to toss it back to you in the studio.
Thank you for that, George. And then also want to make sure that everyone understands this, that they have 8 air tags that are in there. These are those Apple air tags. They're essentially supposed to be 8 bodies. So within Clark County, they even have search and rescue efforts that, as far as training goes on, as the dust settles, and they go in and find eventually 8 air tags within all of the debris.
They just want to use it as a training exercise.
Training
Yeah,
exercise.
to see if they can go in and find the air tags. They also sent up the infrared cameras this morning from Metro helicopters prior to the implosion, looking for any heat signatures within those 2 buildings to make sure there were no humans inside those buildings prior to the implosions. There were none.
All right, we are just getting started. We have a full hour live from Las Vegas as we pay tribute to the Tropicana. Very brief break. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this.
Get a huge variety of 31 different fruits and vegetable ingredients with Balance of Nature supplements.
I'm impressed with the variety of fruits and vegetables in Balance of Nature.
I like Balance of Nature because of the 31 individual ingredients that they have stuffed into these little capsules.
Because it's not just any one thing, it's the variety that makes a huge difference.
Why not try Balance of Nature? Simple, easy, 3 capsules a day of fruits and veggies, a mixture of different fruits that were thoughtfully selected for their nutritional value, and same thing with the vegetables.
We don't always eat kale every day, or papaya, or cayenne peppers. Balance of Nature is a great way to get them painlessly.
Get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer.
Enjoy a 30-day money-back guarantee and free shipping. Don't wait any longer. Use discount code FRESH.
It's that time of year for Mrs. Patio's half-price sale. This event only happens in October. Save 50% on select styles and brands throughout our stores. It's the perfect time to renew your outdoor living space with beautiful patio furniture, umbrellas, fire tables, and accessories. The half-price sale going on now at all 3 locations in the Valley. There's not much time left, so hurry in for the best selection this month only at Mrs. Patio, the very finest in outdoor luxury furnishings.
Hi, I'm Dr. Boyer. I'm a chiropractic physician. Early on in my practice, I was introduced to Balance of Nature. What an amazing product. I love it. I love what it has done for me, and I know what it has done for my patients. It is the best product that I've ever come across.
Start your journey with Balance of Nature supplements.
Get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer.
Enjoy a 30-day money-back guarantee and free shipping. Don't wait any longer. Use discount code FRESH.
We're offering our free loans up to $5,000. Really, 0 fees and free interest on a loan for a full week. But what happens after the free week? Let's say you borrow $1,000. The first week is on us, and after that, it'll only cost you $5.50 per day. Keep it out another day, week, or a year. If you need that $1,000 for an additional week, it would cost you less than $40 in interest. Your first loan is on us.
It was legendary. It was iconic.
And now it's history. The Tropicana Las Vegas imploding in a spectacle that's become a Las Vegas tradition.
All that's left, the memories. You have good memories of the Trop?
Absolutely. I love going in the Trop.
This special edition of News 3 continues right now.
Live from the Las Vegas Strip, News 3's Curtain Call, Tropicana Implosion. A look back at the history of the Tropicana.
And thank you for staying with us for our special coverage. I'm Kim Wagner.
And I'm Dana Wagner. That was fun, huh?
Yes, it was.
So
It was
the tower's coming
spectacular.
down at about 2:38 this morning, and I was surprised to see how extensive the fireworks show was.
It was spectacular. Really an end of an era, but let's take a look at how we got to this point. After the A's announced they wanted to move here to Las Vegas, questions came in to determine where could they put a baseball stadium. And after plenty of searching, the A's and Bally's teamed together, reached an agreement in May of last year for a brand new ballpark right there on the fabulous Las Vegas Strip. That's where the Tropicana just came down, and a new stadium will go in. They're also eventually going to have a hotel associated with this. In fact, it is one of those timelines that is almost unbelievable that they're going to have this all said and done. It became official in April of this year, and now this morning, when the Tropicana is now officially no longer there, the planning will begin.
We have live team coverage for you this morning. George Acosta, Fidel Moreno Meza, they are live at the media staging area right across the street from the Tropicana site in the Luxor parking lot.
But right now, we would like to revisit the vantage point where Chloe Coast and Jim Snyder were enveloped in all of that desert dust. It looks like it's cleared out a bit, though, you guys.
We are improving.
We are improving. It has visually. I know you can not see it as much on TV, and you can see through the site a little bit more, but we can sure smell it and taste it still. So it feels like keeping the masks on is the right thing to do for right now.
Yeah, at least for the time being. We will see this continue to clear up through the morning. But, you know, oftentimes I get asked, hey, am I good to wash my car? Anyone who's parked or in this area, you need to wash your car because you have a thin layer of dust on some of the cars here. I mean, look at this one right next to us. And then not only did we have some of the car alarms go off when the implosion was going on, but that large plume of dust.
Hey, Scott, look, they're doing exercises over here now. These are some of the crews from Going Gong Demolition, which teamed up with Controlled Demolition, Inc. this time around, and they're doing some stretching exercises over there because they're about to head back to the site and start the job of clearing the debris.
Like the true professionals they are, I mean, they were ready to go. They're also wearing their protective gear just like we are. Obviously, theirs is a little bit more intense than us, but it's because they're going to be going right into the site right there in just moments.
All right, you're watching their handiwork right now. I think we're showing you video of this implosion, and from what we could see, we're going to have to wait for the post game from the experts, but everything went off exactly according to plan. You guys were talking about the fireworks show was way more intense than I expected.
Oh, yeah.
It just lit up this entire south end of the Strip and went on for the 6 or 7 minutes. And the drones that were incorporated were so cool, spelling out the logos for the different players, Bally's, the A's logo was up there. And then some of the drones had sparks shooting out of them. So that added to the show leading up to the big show, which was the two towers coming down.
I feel like only in Las Vegas is it that constant game of like, let's do it bigger and better and better. And I feel like this was a perfect example of that tonight.
22 stories each, the towers. They fell in what we were told was 22 seconds. I didn't have a stopwatch on it, but it sounded about right. And yeah, cheer went up from here in the parking lot. And a lot of these people, as we said, are friends and family and also workers for the demolition team that were there putting the dynamite in before it all happened.
Yeah, it was a sight to see. And experiencing something like this for the first time, I'm just in awe of all the work that goes into putting on a show like this. And, you know, it is closing a chapter of the Tropicana, but opening big doors when it comes to the A's.
It's always a turning point here. And you talk about the 20 demolitions we've seen since 1993 and that spectacular Dunes implosion. But it's always a really interesting kind of point of civic pride because you are saying goodbye to something. And a lot of us have very fond memories of times at the Tropicana. And then you're saying hello to something new, which is going to be the A's ballpark, and as Kim was mentioning, a new Bally's resort here eventually as well.
Exciting times. We keep rolling with it.
We keep rolling with it, and our coverage is going to roll through the morning. As Dana and Kim were saying, we've got a lot of pieces looking back on that legacy of the Tropicana over these past 67 years.
I know, so much to look back on, so many things to look forward to, and we're really grateful for everyone who's tuned in to be with us on this special
We're doing it all night.
All-nighter.
Feel like I'm in college without the studying.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, guys, thank you.
Yeah.
It It does feel like a sleepover. I mean, only because we've been running around eating a bunch of candy and having a good old time.
But a little mini party here for the past few hours.
Right.
It's been the most fun I've had in a parking lot in a long time.
The sleepover without the sleeping bags. All right, guys, thank you. Great job. We'll be checking in with you guys again. You heard Jim also talking about the number 22. Oddly, that's a key number here. Prior to this morning, we've had 20 implosions. Well, today we lost 2 towers, 21 and 22 implosions.
Right.
These were 22-story towers, 2 of them, 2,200 pounds of explosives, and they came down in 22 seconds.
And we haven't seen an implosion like this since the Riviera was the last
That was the last one, yeah, in 2016.
believe.
Yeah, that was 8 years ago.
Different vantage points. George Acosta is at the media staging area, very near the boulevard. So, George, what do you see now?
Yeah, things are clearing up here. The smoke has kind of dwindled down a bit, but I already missed it. I kind of want to go back and revisit it. I saw the first tower come down and then the second tower immediately after. But again, it was all excitement, the colors, the fireworks, the noise, all of that. Now the explosion, we're revisiting that right now. So loud, such a huge cloud. So you can see how from this vantage point it's so close. The closest you can get to that area. Now we saw immediately after the huge plume of just debris just coming towards us, but now there is nothing left. You can see a clear view. Now there are a lot of people, those invited guests here, leaving already. Now they decided to kind of come out, pay their respects, just say farewell, the final farewell after 67 years of just an iconic casino, just here. History, but again, you can still smell just a little bit. I'm not sure if it's the fireworks smoke, but it was just all that debris. A lot of people here wearing masks. I took mine off just a few seconds ago, but of course we were here protected. There was a little bit of debris even on my phone screen, but yeah, the excitement still, people are talking about it. There's people here running around with A's hats. Now that is what is going to go in that place. The A's from Oakland coming to Las Vegas, becoming the next or the latest team here in the Valley. And I also talked to the Bally's Corporation head person. They told me that basically it's something that you don't expect. You want to create a bigger event every single year, and this is something that he wants to pay tribute to the Tropicana. Now they actually told me that they will bring possibly to start immediately cleaning up the debris right now and try to bring the A's here around 2028. So it's all happening very, very fast. Now, just as those 22 seconds happen very quickly, we'll hopefully see those A's here in our valley, but we're gonna toss it back to you now.
All right, George, thank you. And now, 2024, it's come down. But what we want to do is let's look at the Tropicana's rich 67-year run on the fabulous Las Vegas Strip.
We were talking to Jim earlier, and he brought up a very good point. These are odd days, right? Because you're saying goodbye to something that's been around for 67 years in our community, but we're also saying hello to something new. So I think a lot of people are feeling sentimental about the old Tropicana. But back in the day, it was a draw for many reasons, and one of them was the show that they had there, Folies Bergère.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 1984 edition of Les Folies Bergère.
The Tropicana was known for many things, but at or near the top of the list, the iconic Folies Bergère, replete with feathered showgirls. It ran for 49 years in the Trop until 2009, the longest running show in Las Vegas history. A couple of newcomers in Las Vegas got their start in this show. Siegfried and Roy and their Lions and Tigers were a featured act in Follies in the 1960s. Eventually, they became the kings of the Strip. Tropicana opened on Bond Road in April of 1957. They renamed the street Tropicana Avenue in 1961. At the time, it was the most expensive Las Vegas resort ever built, coming in at a whopping $15 million. Eddie Fisher was the opening act, seen here with his wife at the time, Debbie Reynolds, on the right, and his future wife, Elizabeth Taylor, on the left. Back in the day, the rich and famous visited, including Dean Martin and his wife, Jean, Groucho Marx and Nat King Cole. There's Milton Berle and Walter Winchell. Muhammad Ali even trained here in the 1970s for big fights. And Sammy Davis Jr. liked it so much, he actually purchased 8% of the hotel in the early 70s. Many movies were filmed here, including Diamonds Are Forever, starring Sean Connery. Trop also made cameos in Viva Las Vegas with Elvis and The Godfather. The theater attracted acts like Charo and Xavier Cugat. Pearl Bailey performed there, and a couple of kids named Donnie and Marie. And this hotel was definitely known for its Miami vibe and its pool. Here's Jane Mansfield posing on the diving board. They even had swim-up blackjack, and we dug up this promotional shot of a woman playing slots underwater. Plenty of action inside the casino, too, where one pull for 50 cents on the Big Bertha could get you a $50 jackpot. Even primates wanted in on the action.
I lived in the Tropicana the first year I came to town, and you know, if I had my choice, I would have still lived in there until they kicked me out.
Joe Krathwohl and his birds performed at the Trop for 15 years, starting in 1989, getting one of his star attractions, this eagle, Sheba, from Siegfried and Roy, in 1990.
Did Sheba perform in your shows at the Trop?
She performed at almost every show I did at the Tropicana, yep.
What a beautiful bird. It's really fun to hold her.
She got to the point where she was just more famous than me, and I was happy with that.
When this thing finally comes down, are you going to shed a tear?
Yeah.
You will?
Well, so much of my career began at the Tropicana.
Another man that knows this property well is Dick Feeney.
You have good memories of the Trop?
Absolutely. I love going in the Trop.
Feeney produced more than a dozen shows in Las Vegas, including MJ Live, the last show to ever play the Tropicana.
It was one of the jewels of the Strip. It was fabulous.
All that's left is to say goodbye to this former icon of the Las Vegas skyline.
Bye-bye. 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 Yes, it's awesome. And another element, Dana, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't there some mob ties?
I didn't put that in the piece there because I really want to focus on the glitz and glamour of the Tropicana, but that was really the last vestige of the mob era on the Las Vegas Strip. Yeah, the mob was on the skim. That's where they would take the money from all the table games and the machines, bring it to the count room, and they would skim off the top a bunch of money and then hand it to the Kansas City mob in this case. And the reason they did that is they didn't have to report that to the state of Nevada and pay tax on it. So the mob was in on it at the Trop, at least for part of its history.
Fast forward to 2024, it's all corporate, publicly traded companies. So it's Wall Street and the Boulevard all in the same. All right, we have a lot more to get to. We are preserving history in many ways here in Las Vegas. UNLV, a big part of this, and we're going to show you what they're doing to ensure the Trop's legacy lives on.
It's that time of year for Mrs. Patio's half-price sale. This event only happens in October. Save 50% on select styles and brands throughout our stores. It's the perfect time to renew your outdoor living space with beautiful patio furniture, umbrellas, fire tables, and accessories. The half-price sale going on now at all 3 locations in the Valley. There's not much time left, so hurry in for the best selection this month only at Mrs. Patio, the very finest in outdoor luxury furnishings.
So this is the new iPhone 16 Pro.
Yep. Say hello to Apple Intelligence. It's the best
day ever.
And when you get it with Cox Mobile, you'll be running on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability.
I'm having the time of my life.
Smart. We'll take it.
Dream big. Save 50% on iPhone 16 Pro at Cox Mobile.
There's no better day than a day like today, when all we have in common becomes the Raider way. The pride from our culture and the poise is in our DNA. From Oakland to LA, now Las Vegas is on display.
Las Vegas, let me hear you holler. Oakland, California, all the way through Nevada, yeah.
We're not just one city, we're one nation. When you see the shield, it's time to pull up.
I have co-authored a wellness textbook, which was the #1 bestseller. And I do about anything that I want to do. I still take care of my own lawn, and I go to the health club. We'll go 2-3 miles on the treadmill there. I've been taking Balance of Nature about 6 years. As long as I'm breathing the air, I'm going to be taking Balance of Nature.
Get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer. Enjoy a 30-day money-back guarantee and free shipping. Use discount code FRESH.
You can hear the party in the background.
Yeah,
That's
you
the
can.
foundation room. Our Andrew DeMuro was up there watching it, and he had a great vantage point. That's the Paradise Tower that came down first. That's the one that's closest to the Las Vegas Strip. That's the one that's made of steel. And then on the right-hand side of your screen, that's the Club Tower that came down, made of concrete and rebar. So the first one to go down will be the one on your left, and then the one on the right comes down in quick succession. You're going to see the moment coming up here in just a second where both of those buildings crumble on scene. It was preceded by about a 7-minute drone and pyrotechnics show. I think you just heard the explosions going off in the background. So here's where
On that very location.
Yeah, the A's ballpark. And they're going to begin construction on that, Kim, we think in the second quarter of next year. So you're going to see that tower go up in about 3 years. And this tower, a stadium, you're going to see the stadium go up in about 3 years' time.
That's so Vegas as well. All right, this has also meant a lot to a lot of people when you have a property that is iconic in nature and on the Strip for almost 70 years.
Right.
People are feeling quite nostalgic this morning. So let's check in with News 3's Fidel Moreno Meza. He is at one of those great locations, had a great vantage point of all of this coming down. Thank you for being here again. If you're getting the sleep out of your eye and you're wondering what in the heck is going on.
Yeah, it's the implosion day.
It is very Vegas 2024.
So Fidel, you are right across the street. I believe you're in the Luxor parking lot. This was your first implosion. Do I have that right? What was it like for you?
It is, Dana, Kim. I've officially been, welcomed to Las Vegas by celebrating my first implosion. And I do have to say, this is very much true Vegas fashion from what, I would think. I'm new to the Las Vegas area, but I feel like this is what all implosions should be like. It was most definitely a party, a celebration here where we are. You were both just talking about how the A's are going to be making their way here to the Las Vegas Strip, and we actually were able to hear from the owner of the Las Vegas, I'm already calling them Las Vegas A's. That's what they're going to be right now. They're the A's, but we were able to hear from the A's owner who basically told us and was excited about them coming here to the Las Vegas area. The dust has now settled. You can actually see right behind me. We're getting a pretty good vantage point of what was once the Tropicana. Now those two historical towers are no longer here. Now we're in an area where it was just a bunch of VIPs that were invited again. There was no public viewing, but we did have lots of VIPs. There was open bars, there was food. So it was definitely a party to celebrate this historic day here in the Las Vegas area. Dana, Kim, I'll send things back to you over in the studio.
And then also, Fidel, since you're new to our community, you saw this spectacular drone and fireworks show preceding the implosion. Fireworks by Grucci, they always ring in the new year, Vegas style for us. So some people may think, well, I want to come back and witness this. Well, you can come back for New Year's Eve, and you're going to be treated to another spectacular show on the Strip. For now, Fidel, thank you. We will be checking in with you more, though, throughout the morning.
Not all of these implosions are created equal.
Very
we saw
true.
the 21st and 22nd in our city's history going back 31 years. Some, they make a spectacular show out of it, and some go in the darkness of night. I think it was the boardwalk that went down. And when that went down, it went down with no fanfare. In fact, people staying in nearby hotels thought that Las Vegas was being attacked at the time.
True story. In fact, people started calling 911 thinking we were under attack. So MGM Resorts did a great job this time alerting all of the people staying within the neighboring resorts that this was a planned implosion. And as we do say goodbye and farewell, we want to preserve a lot of this history as well.
It is being preserved at UNLV. Denise Roche has that story.
These are all recordings of the Folies Bergère production show from the 1970s.
Sarah Quigley knows each item tells a story. Historical records from one of the longest operating casinos on the Strip. Here inside UNLV, special collections, pieces of the Tropicana Hotel worth saving.
We picked it up from them before the building was decommissioned before everyone kind of moved out, so to speak.
Some of this stuff you could have just ended up in the garbage.
It could have, and it often does.
From valet tickets to marketing materials, even flooring samples from a renovation project in 2012, Quigley says all of it will be carefully preserved. One of her favorite items, the Tropicana's reopening protocols following our city's COVID shutdown.
But it does go into detail about what their cleaning and sanitation protocols were going to be, and I just think that's super interesting. We were all figuring this out from nothing. We never had any experience with this.
The Tropicana closed in April, just days shy of its 67th anniversary. News 3 was there as slot machines were wheeled out, the doors locked, and longtime entertainers saying goodbye.
I was tearing up the last few days. I've had such a great time here, such a great life. I fed my children with this place.
Now the hotel towers are hollowed out, crews preparing to bring the Tropicana down October 9th.
For a community as future-oriented as we are, where casinos sort of come and go on a much shorter timeline, I think it's crucial that we understand, how did the Tropicana manage to stay in business for so long when so many others don't?
Still, at least one collected item speaks to a darker point in our history. This letter from the Tropicana's vice president thanking team members for their compassion following the 1 October mass shooting that occurred just down the street from the hotel in 2017. Employees providing shelter and compassion to victims.
I think a lot of what it will end up being used for is probably more traditional research projects. We are part of a university campus, I'm sure. Our historians and our scholars here at UNLV will be interested in what the collection has to tell them.
And that was our Denise Roche reporting.
I think they're taking the sign, too, downtown to the Neon Museum.
They should.
Which is cool, right?
Yes, of course.
That's where all the signs from our city's history are preserved, right there north of Fremont Street. Also, coming up on this program, we're talking about the final days of the Tropicana. We will be talking to some of the employees. Some of these people worked at the Trop for decades, and you will hear from them coming up.
Are you moving out of state? Has your family grown and you need a bigger house? Maybe you inherited a house and need help with probate. Or maybe you just have a home you want to sell. I'm Andrew the Home Buyer, and I've helped thousands of families in every type of situation. I buy as is in any condition, and I can close in as fast as 5 days. And I even let you live in your home for free after we close. Call me, Andrew the Home Buyer, today.
Sunday night is made for football. And News 3 and the new Rio Hotel and Casino want to get you into the game with the News 3 Celebrity Pick.
Watch News 3 today on Friday mornings and see which team local celebrities pick to win on Sunday night.
Then go to news3lv.com to make your own pick. If you're correct, you could win a $150 gift certificate to Luckley Tavern and Grill at the Rio. Watch Celebrity Pick and Win Fridays on News 3 today. Sponsored by Rio Hotel and Casino.
It's that time of year for Mrs. Patio's half-price sale. This event only happens in October. Save 50% on select styles and brands throughout our stores. It's the perfect time to renew your outdoor living space with beautiful patio furniture, umbrellas, fire tables, and accessories. The half-price sale going on now at all 3 locations in the Valley. There's not much time left, so hurry in for the best selection this month only at Mrs. Patio, the very finest in outdoor luxury furnishings.
I'm impressed with the variety of fruits and vegetables in Balance of Nature.
I like Balance of Nature because of the 31 individual ingredients that they have stuffed into these little capsules.
Why not try Balance of Nature? Simple, easy. 3 capsules a day of fruits and veggies, a mixture of different fruits that were thoughtfully selected for their nutritional value.
Get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer. Use discount code FRESH.
Welcome back on this special morning. Kim and Dana Wagner here, 3:26 in the morning, and The Trop no longer here, but for more than 6 decades, the Tropicana was open for business on the fabulous Las Vegas Strip.
It opened in April of 1957, right? And just closed in April of this year. We had a chance to talk to some of the staff and employees as the doors closed for good. And that was that. Some tears shed on that day, lots of smiles around, people waving goodbye to the Tropicana after 67 years in operation.
And it wouldn't surprise me if some of those folks were some of the invited guests for the parties they had planned. They didn't have a public viewing area, and that's why we have been encouraging everyone just from the comfort of their home to turn on Channel 3, and we'll take you through all of it. Right there in the mix, as those towers were coming down, are Jim Snyder and Chloe Coast. In fact, it looks a lot better now when we see you guys.
They're taking the masks off.
Yes.
We know it's better for sure.
It's a good sign when you can see the camera you're talking to.
Yes, exactly. It is kind of nice. Yeah, clearing up for sure. Still tasted a little bit in the air, but not nearly as bad as it was right after. And we want to show you more videos of this spectacular implosion that happened. 2 implosions, the 2 towers coming down. And we've talked about what a feat of engineering this was.
Oh, yeah.
The club tower that was closest to us, that was brought down with traditional dynamite. The Paradise Tower, closer to the Las Vegas Boulevard, that had steel reinforcement, so they had to use C4 explosive, which is much more powerful. They used less of it, but as Dana and Kim were talking earlier today, they had to cut through some of the steel girders, not too much, so it would fall down, but make sure it was ready for the implosion, and it all seemed to work like clockwork.
It worked well. 2,000 pounds of explosives later, and it was A-okay. Everything went as planned, including the smoke, which was anticipated, especially around this area. We're seeing some clearing up right now, which is already good, but anyone who had a car out here, you got to get that washed.
Yes, exactly. There's going to be some good work for car washes in this area for the next week or so. And 67 years, you know, we keep saying that number, and you really have to appreciate what that means here in Las Vegas. The lifespan of these places is not usually that long, and for the Tropicana to have such a long, storied history for 67 years is really something impressive.
That, and when we look back into the history books and we saw that this was once the most luxurious and most expensive hotel at a whopping $15 million, there are homes, not my home, but there are homes out there that are of that price. But it's wild to see there and where we are now with everything. But it used to be just a huge gem on the Strip for 67 good years. Here it was, and now it's over.
They called it the Tiffany of the Strip, and it really was the jewel. That was the name of the tower before they renamed it to the Paradise. And I was here on one of the final days before it closed and talking with some of those employees. Many had been here for decades, and this was really their work life was here at the Tropicana. So very bittersweet for them to see it go, for sure.
No kidding, no kidding. And you could just see, you know, just the emotion on people's faces. We had a lot of the construction crews that were here in the parking lot, and obviously they're not here anymore. They've gotten to work, and they're on the site right now, going through all the debris, and it's just wild to think that, you know, just a couple hours ago we had massive buildings behind us, but no more.
Yeah, it's so wild to have your view just change in an instant like this. But you see the big piles of debris down there. Obviously months of work to go to clear that. The plan is to do that through the first half or so of 2025 and then start in earnest building that new ballpark for the A's, who can start playing games here. The plan is in the 2028 season they'll be playing in Sacramento. Until then.
Yeah, it's a journey to get there. We're meandering to a new A's birth here in Las Vegas. It's going to be a great time, and you know, I'm excited. The city has just grown exponentially, and I remember when I first moved here, we didn't even have a sports team, and now here we are flexing all kinds of sports muscles here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to get back to Dana and Kim, but I guess I got to tell you guys, this really, we keep saying end of an era, and you know, I was there for the Dunes in '93, and now this is kind of the last of that. You know, when I came to town, like the Riv was the big place, and the Stardust was the big place, and the Desert Inn, you
Yep.
guys remember, and it's kind of all been transformed, and this is really one of the final pieces of the puzzle.
Totally agree.
Well, thanks, you guys, and you've teed us up beautifully for a couple of things that Dana and I want to talk about on set. First of all, we will have live coverage this morning as the Knights will kick off their season at T-Mobile
That's
Arena.
coming up tonight,
So when our
yep.
newscast
That's
starts
one of the
at
new
4
things.
this morning, we are going to have a live presence over at the Fortress. And then when Chloe talked about the Trop back in the day being built for $15 million, for a little perspective, when Steve Wynn built the Mirage, that was $1 billion property, the first of its kind on the Strip. And all of the banks said, you're never going to be able to do it. You're going to have to make at least $1 million a day to service your loan.
He made it.
No problem.
He made it.
No
right.
problem.
That $15 million back in the day, by the way, in 1957, would equate to current dollars of $168 million.
Wow.
Which still is not very much, considering
Right.
most of these are multi-billion-dollar properties.
It's just unbelievable where we started and how
Yep.
far we've come. And as we continue to revisit the rich history of the Tropicana, there were numerous people who worked there that are sad to see it go.
Including Charlie Granato. He
Yeah.
worked as a bartender there for 38 years at the Tropicana. He says he saw a lot of change in those years. He said it's sad that this era's over, but he's happy that he had a chance to work there. He goes back to the days when you'd still see those wise guys in the casinos and in the lounges. When you say wise guys, not smart people, mobbed up people, but he always knew not to get too mixed up with the mob.
Before then, there was bookies all over the city, and they were connected with somebody.
When you had interactions with those guys, what was that like?
Well, I never got into their business because they don't let you in.
Sure.
Unless you borrow money from them, then it's a different story. And
You don't want to do that.
no, they told me don't borrow money from the guys.
You can see Jim Snyder was able to sit down with Charlie, and he says that he got the job at the Tropicana by having the right juice, meaning he knew the right guy who was able to put him to work.
Well, juice meant something else back in the day, too. You did not want to borrow money from those guys because...
Yeah, the wise guys.
Yeah, the vigorous. The vigorous is running.
Oh, my
Yeah,
gosh,
you borrow
yes.
$1,000, you owe $2,000 next week. So entertainers also got together earlier this year to say goodbye to that legendary property.
I was hired in New York to come out here as the lead dancer for the Folies Bergère in 1964. It was a wonderful introduction to Las Vegas. It's very dear and special to me. Well, it saddens me, and I'm sorry the place wasn't rejuvenated and continued here at this location, but I understand progress.
I think it's a shame. The Folies Bergère, the Tropicana was a legend, it's a Tiffany of the Strip.
So much fun. We had so much fun. So it's sad to see, but it's awesome. Look at that room and look at all the eras, all the generations. There will never be another Follies.
A lot of showgirls here in town got their start in Folies Bergère, topless revue that ran for 49 years on the Strip. And the best part about that show was back in the day in the 1960s, a couple of kids named Siegfried and Roy and their tigers and lions got their start as a featured act in Folies Bergère before they eventually became the kings of the Strip.
And then we were also able to talk with two other performers who entertained the crowds for years over at the Tropicana, and they were a part of that iconic show Dana just referred to. Both performed for years, and they collected tons of memorabilia from the Trop. And they are sad to see the resort go, but they are thankful that they were able to perform at one of the more iconic spots in Las Vegas history.
When I was in the show, I don't think I realized the magnitude of what we were actually doing and what a part of history we were becoming. So I'm grateful to have that memorabilia. I'm grateful that I will always be able to hang on to that, and my children have seen it. So I'm grateful for that.
From performances from jazz greats in the 60s to the humble beginnings of Siegfried and Roy, the Tropicana was well known for world-class entertainment.
I think on the last night it was open, Jim Snyder went down there and he was able to get some of the gaming chips. He gave me a $1 token from the Tropicana, which is nice to have.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were there on the final night at the Trop, including our Ambar Rodriguez. She had a chance to talk to the people as that building was beginning to close.
This is definitely the Tiffany of Las Vegas, the Tropicana.
People from all over stopped by the iconic hotel
one last time.
I wanted to be able to say we've seen it, so I bring my wife and we walked all around. We looked at the pool, we looked at the machines, and that's it. It's gone now, it's gone.
Whether it was their first time at the historic casino or a former longtime employee.
I worked here for 30 years as a cocktail waitress.
Everyone taking in the last hours before the doors officially close once and for all.
It's most important for me to see the people that I used to work with, and there's quite a few that are still there. It was a fun experience. I'm glad I came for the last day.
And for two sisters who once called the hotel their second home,
I moved into the Tropicana and I lived here for 9 months. And I opened up a couple clothing stores out here. I was 23 years old and my father was like, thought it was crazy for me to live in Vegas, so he put me in a hotel.
it was a must to walk through it one last time.
When I walked in there, I promise you, I had tears running down my face. I'm like, oh my God, like, I just grew up here. All my friends, like, we all grew up here. Like, all of us know, like, the Tropicana.
That's fun for sure. So there's a company out there called Controlled Demolition. They've done all 22 now demolitions, implosions in our community going back over the last 31 years.
And when it comes to the science of getting this done, there is a lot that goes into it. So we're going to do a very quick commercial break. On the other side, what they did to make sure they came down and did so the way they wanted them to.
Looking to sell your house? Choosing the right buyer matters. Hi, I'm Andrew the Home Buyer, and I'm proud that over the years, thousands of homeowners have trusted me to buy their house. I pay cash, and I pay more than anyone else. I'll buy it in any condition, and I'll even let you live in your home for free after we close. Call me, Andrew the Home Buyer. You'll love selling me your house.
Gas, food, rent, everything's expensive, and we get it. We're literally putting our money where our mouth is. For the first time in DLC history, we'll be offering free loans to all new customers. Need 500, 1,000, even 5,000? What you borrow is what you pay back at the end of the week. No fees, no interest, just the principal. It's a great time to see what makes Dollar Loan Center so inexpensive, fun, and transparent.
My name is Hank. I'm 75 years old, and I take balance with nature. I'm very busy, intentionally. So I take care of my health as best I can. I would recommend Balance with Nature for anyone else.
Get 35% off your first order as a preferred customer. Enjoy a 30-day money-back guarantee and free shipping. Don't wait any longer. Use discount code FRESH.
There's no better day than a day like today, when all we have in common becomes the Raider way. The pride from our culture and the poise is in our DNA. From Oakland to LA, now Las Vegas is on display.
Las Vegas, let me hear you holler. Oakland, California, all the way through Nevada, yeah.
We're not just one city, we're one nation. When you see the shield, it's time to pull up.
Live from the Las Vegas Strip, News 3's Curtain Call, Tropicana Implosion. A look back at the history of the Tropicana.
Welcome back to our special live team coverage. Kim and Dana Wagner here, and we've had plenty of implosions over the years. In fact, historians say Las Vegas is a city that builds up, blows up, and then builds up again.
The sports, entertainment, and implosion capital of the world, I would say. So with this morning's implosions, we had 2 towers go down. That's 21 and 22 over the last 31 years. It all began almost exactly 31 years ago when the dunes came down on the Strip. So coming up in our 4 o'clock hour this morning, I do a retrospective piece on the implosions. That was the dunes. There's the landmark. That was featured in Mars Attacks. You see a number of these. I'm going to highlight some of the biggest ones in our city's history over the last 31 years or so. We had the Aladdin in 1998. That was some people's favorite implosion here in town. Sands in 96. The Riviera was the last one. That came down in 2016. So the last one we had prior to today, 8 years ago.
And when Sir Isaac Newton first said, "What goes up must come down," he had no way of knowing he was writing the first line of the Las Vegas building code.
That's pretty funny. So before this morning's implosion, our Steve Wolford took a closer look at what is needed to actually implode a Las Vegas landmark.
Saw the landmark, saw the Frontier, saw the Riviera.
Neil Opfer teaches construction and engineering at UNLV.
Didn't see the dunes. I was teaching class that night. All my students wanted to get out, and I says, okay, yeah, you can get out.
And the Tropicana will be the latest hotel he's seen return to the desert dust since arriving here in 1989. He says before you knock something down, it helps to know how it was built. And that's what will make the upcoming implosion different than most. That's because the first tower nearest the intersection of Tropicana and Las Vegas Boulevard was built in 1979.
That was their Tiffany Tower. That tower is a steel frame tower.
The newer tower on the south side of the property was built in 1986.
That tower is reinforced concrete frame.
That means they'll need to use two different techniques for the implosions.
With the reinforced concrete frame, they'll use conventional dynamite there to destroy the columns and obviously bring the building down.
Over a ton of conventional dynamite, to be more precise. But Opfer says the steel frame tower will require a more powerful explosive, but just not as much of it.
They'll use an explosive called RDX. And RDX was originally developed by the British in the late 1930s for wartime.
Opfer says RDX is the explosive in a more commonly known explosive, C4.
RDX is used on steel frame columns because what you want to do is you slice through the steel frame column.
And by using the explosives to slice through the steel columns or concrete columns next door, the Tropicana's towers can then collapse under their own weight. But what happens if the charges don't all go off at the exact same time?
You don't want to have a stand-up when you're doing building implosions because, number one, you're now having to perhaps go back into that building and replace your explosives.
That was our Steve Wolford reporting. Again, we have seen a lot of implosions, 22 as of this morning over the last 31 years.
We have a former News 3 reporter,
Yes.
Steve Krupe, who has covered all of the implosions. He'd be out and about and people would go, "You're the implosion guy."
Right, they wouldn't know his name, but they
Right.
would recognize his face and the fact that he was a live reporter during these.
Absolutely. And so he has collected decades worth of materials and has really created a historical record. And he is working with the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority as well as UNLV. And he has never before seen images of various implosions. And as we are known as the entertainment and now sports and entertainment capital of the world, Steve Krupe says there's another nickname our city should go by.
No doubt. Mark Loazzo, who is president of Controlled Demolition Incorporated, the guy that does all the implosions, he agrees that Las Vegas is the implosion capital of the world, and he can't wait to be here on October 9th when the Tropicana goes.
So Steve says that he doesn't feel nostalgic when he watches these implosions. Instead, he's looking forward to what comes next. And Dana, I have to tell you that it's where Las Vegas really intersects with so many different industries. For one of the implosions, I believe it was the Landmark, Sony had a camera that they were going to sacrifice because they just wanted to be able to see how much they would see of the actual implosion. And so when they put the camera on property, it worked like a charm. It was like one of those Timex watch commercials. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. So you see the building coming down, and then they went and they recovered the actual Sony camera that captured all of that Sony now has it in a museum.
Isn't that amazing?
They contacted Steve and said, we want that camera. Now it is in a museum.
That's that landmark that looks like a flying saucer on the top.
Yep,
it was
yep.
in Mars Attacks, and the tower fell right toward the Sony camera. It was unbelievable. So the legacy carries on at the Tropicana. Coming up on this program, we're going to show you how the Neon Museum in downtown Las Vegas is giving local people a chance to share their memories from the Trop.
Fruit and vegetable ingredients have never been more convenient.
It's easy for me to recommend Balance of Nature. It's so simple. It's amazing getting the fruits and vegetables ingredients in 3 red and 3 green capsules.
I take Balance of Nature. I think it's a good product. It's convenient. It's a way to start off with a plus. I can do little capsules in the morning and I'm off to work, you know.
I would recommend Balance of Nature. It's so easy to do every day. I really am happy that I came across it. I feel great, and who doesn't want to feel great?
Splash into your summer with Balance of Nature's summer savings. Go to balanceofnature.com and sign up as a new preferred customer to get 50% off your first set. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this limited time offer by using discount code FRESH.
It's that time of year for Mrs. Patio's half-price sale. This event only happens in October. Save 50% on select styles and brands throughout our stores. It's the perfect time to renew your outdoor living space with beautiful patio furniture, umbrellas, fire tables, and accessories. The half-price sale going on now at all 3 locations in the Valley. There's not much time left, so hurry in for the best selection this month only at Mrs. Patio, the very finest in outdoor luxury furnishings.
Sunday night is made for football. And News 3 and the new Rio Hotel and Casino want to get you into the game with the News 3 Celebrity Pick.
Watch News 3 today on Friday mornings and see which team local celebrities pick to win on Sunday night.
Then go to news3lv.com to make your own pick. If you're correct, you could win a $150 gift certificate to Luckley Tavern and Grill at the Rio. Watch Celebrity Pick and win Fridays on News 3 today. Sponsored by Rio Hotel and Casino.
They were able to take all the signage down and save it, and that way we'll be able to protect that signage for the rest of history.
And the neon sign of the Tropicana continues to light up the skies now through the Neon Museum in downtown Las Vegas, but that's not the only way the legacy will carry on. Welcome back. The museum offers a new twist on vintage Vegas, and they do so through technology.
Our Marie Mortera shows us how you can actually help add to the Tropicana story here in town.
She is our invention. We came up with this concept and we're so proud of what it does. So as you step inside, you get a chance to sit down. Come on in. Have a chance to sit down, and there is a monitor and a video screen. You can record your story of Las Vegas, and that goes into our archives and is part of our permanent collection.
Wow, it says, we are the story of Las Vegas. Are you ready to share yours with Rachel? And you're saying that people have shared their stories of the Tropicana because this was brought to the Tropicana before it was closed down.
Correct. We had Rachel installed on site at the Trop for 10 days. So 5 days on the gaming floor, 5 days back of house. So it was really meaningful to capture 90 stories in 10 days.
In 24 years, but I was sad because closed Tropicana.
Senior trip for high school. It was 1996. I decided to go on a vacation.
Is my